Hi everyone, this is Robin the Delta Crafter, and I want to welcome you to a new video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about updating my ink swatch booklet that I've shared before on my YouTube channel. I have a video that I'll link below to where I show you how I first initially set up my ink swatch booklet. And today, because I've recently acquired some new inks right here, it's time to do an update. So I'm going to share that with you. But before we get started, I want to say welcome to all my subscribers. I'm so glad to see you back here. And if you're new here, welcome to you as well. I'm glad you've decided to join me today. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and go ahead and click the bell as well to get notifications for when I upload new videos. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Delta Crafter. So join me over there, over on those platforms as well. Let's get started. As I said before, I already have my ink swatch booklet set up. And so here is my ink, here's what it looks like. So I got this idea from a fantastic lady in the stamping world named Jennifer McGuire. She has one of these, and I thought it was a fantastic idea because it gives you an opportunity to see what inks you have, be able to match colors and plan for cards or whatever activity you're working on. She has some free printables, which is what I have right here, on free printables, I'm sorry, to use to make your ink swatch booklet. And she uses coin collector display pages to keep her ink swatches in. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. So I went and purchased a couple of these pages, and this has really served me well in my crafting, card making, all the things that I do with ink. So this is what it looks like. The templates that she has several templates for various different kinds of inks that are on the market. Distress inks, Distress Oxide inks, Hero Arts inks, Altenew inks, Concord and Nice, just all the different kinds of inks that are out there. She also has a blank template, which is what I use today, because her templates that she has already out there for you that are pre-populated are populated with all the colors that I think she last updated those pages in 2017. So each of those lines and the colors that they had up until 2017 is what is on her webpage. But she has a blank template that you can use to fill in with new colors as they come out from those different makers. So like Tim Holtz just released this speckled egg ink from Distress Ink, and it comes in all different kinds of mediums. You didn't have to wait for her to create the page with speckled egg on there. You could use the blank template and fill in what you needed. And another reason why, and I like that, another reason why I like this is because her pre-populated pages have the ink names on there. Because I've bought different types of different colors of ink, as well as 2 different types of ink, I could just go in and type in the names for what I purchased rather than having to print the pages that she has pre-populated just to get this square and that square and this one, because those are the inks that I purchased. So the blank template really has been my friend. It is, the font that is used here is Century Gothic, and of course this is all caps and this is all lowercase. And it's also the template that I use to make my labels that are going to go excuse me, on the side of my ink pads. So we'll talk about this in just a minute. But this is the template. She has the cut marks here because in order to fit in the coin collector pouches, or slots rather, your cards need to be 2 by 2. So she already has the marks here on where you need to cut in order to make your cards 2 by 2 and for them to fit in the pocket. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go and cut these up on my paper trimmer, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are. I'm back after cutting up all my ink swatch squares, and we have my ink swatches for my distress inks on my left. And I have recently purchased some Hues Reactive Ink. These inks are from Hero Art, so this is my first time getting some of these, and so I've made some cards for those so I can make ink swatches for those as well. So one of the things that I learned, Jennifer McGuire has a video on making the ink swatch booklet. And one of the things that I learned is that you need some sort of solid stamp in order to make your stamp of your color. If you use an outline stamp, you won't necessarily know what the real color or what the true color of the stamp is. There just won't be enough color from the ink pad on your swatch. So I've had this ink stamp, this stamp that I'm going to use. I've had this for a while. I believe I purchased this a long time ago, but when I initially set up my booklet, I thought this was the perfect stamp to use for this purpose. So I couldn't even tell you where I got this stamp from, but you need something solid like this stamp is. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to stamp some of these out for you. So this first one we're doing is a distress ink. It's Speckled Egg. It's the new color from Tim Holtz and Ranger Ink, and I'm excited to have this. I'm so glad I was able to get my hands on it because it's in high demand. So I'm going to tap it on my ink pad, and then I'm going to center my stamp on my card and stamp. And that may happen sometimes where the ink does not cover your card easily or completely, and that's okay. So you may have to make a second card, or if you're okay with that being like that, you can stay with that. And I'm okay. So I'm going to set that one to the side, cover my speckled ink up, clean my stamp. I already have my stamp cleaner pre-moistened and ready. And now let's move on to the Mermaid Lagoon. Ooh, that's a beautiful color. Why haven't I had this one already? So many things to buy. Okay, so now this is carved pumpkin, and I actually wanted carved pumpkin in the Oxide inks because I have invested a lot of money in the Oxide inks. I'm sorry, in the regular distress inks. And I wasn't ready to jump over to Oxide inks just yet. But this particular color, carved pumpkin, I could not find anywhere in the regular distress ink. I was able to find it at a local craft store in the Oxide, so I decided to purchase it in the Oxide ink and let this be my first foray into the Oxide ink. So let's see how this is going to react to the stamping. All right. So move that around just a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. And I mean, he named that one right. It is very orange like a pumpkin. So I like that. So there are my distress oxide, my distress inks, including my one distress oxide ink. And I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay. So now let's move on to the Hero Arts Reactive Inks. I'm going to be doing a review of the Hero Arts Reactive Inks, as well as I'm going to be doing some new ink blending combinations of using my new distress inks. So look for those videos to come out soon. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when they come out. So this first Hero Arts Reactive Ink that we're going to use is called Blue Hawaii. So clean my stamp. I see some area on the, there we go. Oh, that's pretty. I like that color. That's Blue Hawaii. Next up is Fruit Punch. So that was one of the things that propelled me to buy these inks, was I was seeing some beautiful examples of using the kits. And some of the inks that they used were the Hues Reactive Inks, which at the time I wasn't aware that other companies were making inks that react without water, hence the name reactive, or the reactive portion of the name. These inks, just like Distress inks, react with water. All right, now I'm going to set these aside. Now it's time to make the little labels for the sides of the ink pads. So when I store my ink pads, especially, well, for all my ink pads for that matter, I store them upside down. So when I store them, I definitely cannot see the lids. So I always put labels on the side to tell me the name, and I swipe the color across the label, the name on the label, so that I know what the color looks like. So that's what we're about to do now. So what I think I'm going to do is, and I have already printed the names of all the inks on sticker paper. So this already has a sticky back to it. So what I'm going to do is cut the labels into name sections. So I've done 2 for the Hero Arts Reactive Inks. I've made two labels for them, because I'm going to put one on the long side, one on the long side and one on the short side. And then I've made one for the Distress inks, because they're square. So I just need one side. It doesn't matter for the Distress inks which side I put it on, because they're square, so I can make it all work. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the labels and I'm going to drag them across the ink pads. So for the first one is Pool Party. So I want to get Pool Party color across the words Pool Party. So let's go ahead and just drag. I want to make sure I get good coverage. So you might have to do it a couple of times. Whoop. And then you also may have to blot some of the ink up, because you may get too good coverage. So I'm just going to blot some of that off. And there we have the Pool Party label with the Pool Party ink on it. So I'll set that aside. Let's do Lemon Drop. Okay, now that I have all my labels colored up and my fingers are a little inky, let's go ahead and start applying the labels to the inks. So what we're going to do is, again, this is label paper, so it's sticky on the back. So what I'm going to do is just trim this down. So that the label is fully covered in color. And then I'm going to turn the stamp on the side. And now see, and measure it up. So I now see I need to trim it down a little bit more lengthwise to make it fit on the stamp. And remember, this is right side up. And remember, I told you that I store my stamps upside down. So I actually want to apply the label upside down so that when I am looking at my stamp collection and I'm trying to choose colors, I can read it in the way that I store my inks. I store my inks upside down in order to keep the ink at the top of the ink pad. And there we go. First one done. Right persimmon. All right. Let's move on. Let's get this beautiful speckled egg taken care of and labeled and ready to get in the rotation of usage. So there are all of our distress inks labeled and ready for use. Now let's move on over to the Hero Arts inks, reactive inks. Trim this down quite a bit. There we have them, all the inks, all the new inks labeled, colored, and ready for use. In my right hand, I have all my new Distress inks, as well as the carved pumpkin in Distress Oxide Ink. And I can already tell you that what they say about Distress Oxide inks being creamy, it is very true. This ink just absorbs and adheres to the paper very differently than the traditional Distress inks do. And then in my left hand, I have my new Hues Reactive Inks by Hero Arts. And the reason why I labeled these inks on two sides is because on my ink shelf, I'm not sure if I'm going to have room to store these the long way or if I'm going to need to store them the short way. So either way, I have them labeled and I'm able to see what colors I have. I hope you have enjoyed this video today. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. And I'm going to leave some links in the description box below to the post by Jennifer McGuire on her blog about the Ink Swatch books and where you can find the free printables that she has. And then I'll leave a link also to my setup of my Ink Swatch book. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day. Stay safe and enjoy. Bye-bye.